What is going on, Misfit Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Matt, the Misfit, and this is your review for WWE SummerSlam 2023 from Detroit, Michigan. We had 8 or 9 matches on the show here. The show I thought was good, was to me probably the weakest of the Triple H era pay-per-views, but I didn't think the show was bad. There were some things I could have done without. Like that finish. We'll talk about that whole story in just a little bit here. But we'll have other things to discuss here, including IYO SKY winning the WWE Women's Championship after I've been saying it for months that this was going to happen, and no one believed me. People thought I was crazy. Y'all guys who doubted me from an entire year owe me an apology on that one. Cody Rhodes earns the respect of Brock Lesnar after a really, really good, excellent match. Seth Rollins retains the World Heavyweight Championship in an excellent match that was way better than their match for Money in the Bank. However, tensions between the Judgment Day continue as Damian Priest costs Finn Balor the chance to become World Heavyweight Champion. And Jimmy Uso, for some bizarre fucking reason, is now a heel again, and it's probably back with Roman Reigns. Anyway, all that and much, much more, including a horrible, boring MMA rules match. But you can listen to all that right here at youtube.com/@MisfitWrestlingPodcast. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, then comment down below. Follow the social medias. Misfit Podcast TV on Twitter, Misfit Wrestling Pod on Instagram and Threads, and also the other audio outlets, because I will be recording the Pile Driver Pulse a little bit later on tonight. You can listen to the Pile Driver Pulse on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Audible, and Pandora. There's some news regarding WWE that I'm going to get into. Before I get into the SummerSlam review, I might as well get that stuff here and now. We have news of a return that's going to be happening in a couple months, or maybe this week, that I will talk about when we get to the Bianca, Asuka, Charlotte triple threat match. But some news that broke earlier in the day, a couple hours before SummerSlam. We have commentary shakeups. We have new broadcast teams on Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. Michael Cole, who is just a breath of fresh air now ever since Vince McMahon got the hell out of his ear, is now going to be calling all the shows outside of NXT. He's going to be calling Raw, SmackDown, and the pay-per-views on Monday Night Raw. They've moved over the current SmackDown announced team, which was Michael Cole and Wade Barrett, now is over on Monday nights. Wade Barrett going to be over on Mondays with not Corey Graves. Corey Graves has been moved to SmackDown. We'll talk about that one in just a second. With Michael Cole over on SmackDown, we have Michael Cole, Corey Graves, and Kevin Patrick, which means Kevin Patrick right now is no longer the lead announcer of any show. Thank God. But we'll explain why in just a little bit. Because there is some news on that, and I'm going to actually talk about that right now here. So this is from, this is actually from, the reason why is from PW Insider. But I'm going to read what happened prior to this. It says, prior to SummerSlam yesterday, because I am recording this review today. I didn't get to do it last night because I was just dead-ass tired. Because I went to a birthday party and then came back, watched SummerSlam. I had to rewatch it again because I missed some of the matches. And I just was tired afterwards, so I didn't get to record the episode here. But they said prior to SummerSlam yesterday, Variety is the one who broke the story. They revealed that WWE would be shaking up its commentary teams, like I said, with Corey Graves and Kevin Patrick moving over to SmackDown with Michael Cole, and Michael Cole coming back over to Monday Night Raw with Wade Barrett. So Cole will be pulling triple duty for pay-per-views. I don't know about Corey Graves going forward. Last night, he was the color commentator with Michael Cole on SummerSlam. Wade Barrett, as far as I know, has since being back only called Money in the Bank because it was in London. I don't know if he's going to do it again for Payback next month. But we'll find that out. But here's more adding to it here. PW Insider reported both Endeavor and the broadcast partners of WWE made pushes for Michael Cole to become the primary face of the product, the voice of WWE. As a result, Cole will now be placed on both main roster shows for Raw and SmackDown with Cole's extensive background in commentating. WWE is confident that he, along with Corey Graves, can ship in up less experienced wrestling commentator, Kevin Patrick, who joined the broadcast team in 2021. The report emphasizes that WWE is fond of Kevin Patrick. They may be, we aren't, but hopefully, I'll talk about that in just a little bit here. And the shakeup was not to indicate a demotion to Kevin Patrick, but rather an opportunity for him to gain some more experience and find the voice and the vibe the company wants out of their lead announcers. In regards to Barrett and Cole jumping over to Raw, PW Insider noted that the executives were keen on keeping the two together as their on-screen chemistry works very well. It's highly praised and promoted by WWE to relocate Barrett and Cole to the flagship show, which is fine. I like Wade Barrett as a comment. I do miss Pat McAfee, but Wade Barrett is also great at what he does, and I'm enjoying what they're doing with Cole and Wade Barrett. Kevin Patrick is not really well liked as a commentator by the fans, and him being over there next to Cole every Friday night is going to hopefully work out because he needs that experience. I've heard him call, his soccer stuff, but he just doesn't. It feels like he has no life when he's doing Raw. He just sounds lifeless. There's no excitement when he's calling a match, and most of the time it's Corey Graves, who is supposed to be the color commentator, is acting more like the lead announcer because Kevin Patrick rarely talks. So now we're going to have somebody who is doing a phenomenal job since July of last year as a commentator with Michael Cole. He will get to talk shit about Dominic again, which is going to be fucking hilarious. And he'll get to call to matches like Tommaso Ciampa versus Shinsuke Nakamura or, anybody else who's on that roster here. And he'll be calling matches featuring a returning superstar. And once we get to that, as soon as I can find the... I got to find that tweet here. Which I'm going... Not tweet, but I'm going to find that news story whenever I get to it here. But let me get out of here. But let's go over, I almost call it SmackDown. Let's get over some news. We also have some news indications for the rest of the show here. Let's talk about this here. This is from Fightful Select. They said, contrary to Triple H's press conference, quotes, Vince McMahon was heavily involved in final say aspects of creative ahead of his quote-unquote surgery that I still don't believe he actually had. They also state that though Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus and Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley weren't announced for SummerSlam, there were several involved who had family and friends planning to attend before the changes. That obviously didn't happen. Montez Ford, who was not on the show, made his way to Detroit for the show. People also asked about the Slim Jim sponsorship. They said that they weren't given a number on the Slim Jim sponsorship, but was told it was a huge sponsorships because, apparently this is a base one they had here. Contact at some gym that we spoke to said that they're ecstatic to have LA Knight involved and also requested Bianca Belair. So it looks like maybe LA Knight's going to be the spokesperson for WWE Slim Jim, which is fine, I guess, for that. We'll talk about the Ronda Rousey match a little bit here, but Ronda Rousey it had been adamant that she wanted to team with Shayna and then put her over before she's taking her leave of absence here. Let's talk about Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton for the final time because I'm tired of talking about these two. Fightful Select said a reminder. Not only did Fightful Select not report that Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt were going to be on SummerSlam, we reported they weren't cleared and weren't likely for the show. WWE we're hoping fans didn't set unrealistic expectations for SummerSlam based on the unfounded rumors. So there is that. Get into SummerSlam here. SummerSlam opened. He had a let's see, it was an 8 or 9 match card here. It opened with Logan Paul versus Ricochet. Match was fine. Match was fun. They were pulling their usual stuff that you would see from Logan Paul Ricochet match here. There were some great spots here. Ricochet nails a back elbow, springboard clothesline that hits his own 450. But Logan Paul was able to kick out. Ricochet then catches Logan Paul after he attempts a moonsault, but that's reversed immediately by Logan Paul into a DDT. Despite that, Ricochet was able to fire back with a recoil and then aims for a shooting star press, but Logan Paul got his knees up, then catches Ricochet out with an inside cradle. It's a 2 here. Logan Paul then plants Ricochet face first into the mat, springboards across the ring, did a frog splash, which he gets a 2 count there. Then aims for a punch, but Ricochet hits him with a super kick. Then hits another kick to the face. Ricochet springboard off the top rope, but yet Logan Paul was able to kick out. Ricochet then attempts to do a 630, but Logan Paul moves out of the way, and one of his friends who was at ringside then appears to give him, looks like, brass knucks. He hid that away to hit Ricochet in the head with the brass knucks and covering and making sure referee didn't see it. Covers him for the 1-2-3. Logan Paul gets the win. Great life from Michael Cole at the end of the match, saying, "Well, the match was great, but that ending sucked," which is a lot of lines that were said through most of these, some of these matches here. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit here. But yeah, I thought the match was fine. I didn't think it was the best match of the night. The best match of the night is like a toss up between Brock and Cody, and Rollins and Balor. But we're gonna talk about Rollins, Cody and Brock right now. But Logan Paul did make it to Jake Paul's fight because he said he requested to go on first so he can go to his brother's boxing match that happened. I think it was either boxing match or an MMA fight. What are the two? Anyways, Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar. This was a lot of fun. This is one of the longer Brock Lesnar matches in a long time, almost 20 minutes here. Cody Rhodes jumps off Brock Lesnar immediately. Cody Rhodes also is over in Detroit. He's over everywhere. But then sent across the ring with a German suplex by Brock and get this. You start at first. You get the standard Brock suplex stuff here. Cody was able to fight back with the 2 disaster kicks, only for Lesnar to swap him down on the third attempt. As he then charges his shoulder into Rhodes several times until he goes to the well once too many times and knocks into the post. Cody follows that up with a suicide dive as the fight goes spilling to the outside air. Lesnar drives Cody into the ring post, and inside the ring, he slows down the pace of Lesnar and starts launching Rhodes. He just starts throwing Cody around the ring. Lesnar continues with German suplexes, and Cody tries to get back into the ring. Lesnar smashes him into the floor, saying, "Save yourself, kid," because Lesnar a few times have been trying to win by countout, trying to tell Cody to stay down. But despite that, Cody kept getting back into the ring more than once, over and over again. And Cody keeps, pushing back. Lesnar then heads out to hit an F5 on Cody through the announce table. Michael Cole keeps reminding him to stay down. What the hell? You have nothing to gain here. Cody then was able to fight back, aims to use the steel stairs, but Lesnar kicks them away. But Cody fights back and launches Lesnar into the ring post, then uses the stair against Lesnar to hit a disaster kick and a Cody cutter, which will look really good. Cody follows that up with another Cody cutter, this time from the top rope, the top turnbuckle, but the Beast manages to kick out. Great near fall there. Cody attempts the crossroads, but Lesnar reverses that into the Kimura lock, but Rhodes was able to make it to the bottom rope. Cody then manages to lock in his own Kimura lock. Lesnar escapes by drilling him into the mat. Cody responds with 2 or 3 crossroads and gets the clean victory over Brock Lesnar, does Cody Rhodes. And then after the match, the two men stare down, and what was said to be by Triple H in an unplanned spot, Lesnar shakes hands with Cody Rhodes, gives him a hug, and raises his arm, giving his full endorsement of pushing Cody Rhodes as the guy. I thought this was great stuff here. When Brock likes you, if Brock likes somebody, like he does with Cody or AJ or Bryan or Undertaker or whoever else it is, Finn Balor, or like who else, like Roman or Cena or somebody like that. If he likes you that much, he's gonna work his ass off to bump for you and have great matches with you, and that's what happened here. I just wish if the story here was to have Brock earn or Cody earn the respect of Brock Lesnar, why couldn't that just be said as the story the whole time? We're probably never gonna know what the actual reason for them feuding is unless Cody comes out on Raw tomorrow and says, I found out the reason why Brock has been attacking me for months. He didn't like me, and I had to earn his respect, and I did that. If he comes out and says that tomorrow, then sure. But if he doesn't, I'm going to be very, very pissed here. But great match nonetheless here. I did enjoy this. The Slim Jim Battle Royal, the match that took time and spots away from the women. Allegedly. LA Knight comes out here. Massive pop. LA Knight is over wherever he goes here. And then comes out MVP comes walking out here. Of course, in this match here, if I can actually, I should actually list the other participants in this match first before I go into anything else here. So the participants in this match here were Apollo Crews, JD McDonough, Rick Boogs, Otis, Ivar, Eric, Shinsuke Nakamura, Tommaso Ciampa, Cameron Grimes. For some reason, the United States Champion wasn't here. Austin Theory, Santos Escobar, Giovanni Vinci, Ludwig Kaiser, Rich Holland, Pete Dunne, Matt Riddle, Omos, The Miz, Grayson Waller, Karrion Kross, Chad Gable, Bronson Reed, AJ Styles for some reason, and Sheamus. Like I said, I just mentioned Omos came out there, and I'm like, oh my god, are they going to give Omos the win? No, there's really nothing here to talk about here. There was a nice spot here with Grayson Waller and The Miz. A lot of people like to compare these two here. I think Grayson Waller may be a little bit better than The Miz. It's just me, but they're working together and it lasts very long here. They tried to eliminate one another. Sheamus eliminates Grayson Waller. Styles was able to eliminate Cameron Cross because they're still feuding here. Bronson Reed pushes Gable up and out. He gets eliminated here. Final four: Sheamus, Bronson Reed, LA Knight, AJ Styles. Knight then attempts to drag Reed out, achieves it, but he's sending to the floor. So I guess, so I'm assuming Bronson Reed got eliminated here. So there's that. Karrion Kross helped get AJ eliminated here, so they're going to continue their feud for some reason. But then LA Knight ended up eliminating Sheamus to a huge pop, and LA Knight gets the win here. Again, this match was only on the show for two reasons. One, the sponsorship with Slim Jim to get something like that on the show, and two, to get LA Knight on the show and to get him a win. Which, again, if you're not going to give him the United States Championship, whatever. Anyways. Now on to something I didn't think was very good, despite having an incredible video package that was played on Raw. Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey, MMA rules. This was awful. This was not very good at all. I thought this was the worst thing on the show. And, I love Shayna Baszler. Ronda Rousey, not so much. But Shayna gets the Carrefour collection at the end here. And Ronda passes out. Shayna gets the win here. The right person won. Happy for Shayna that she got put over on this big pay-per-view like this in front of 51,000 people. But it was not very good. MMA, doing a full-on MMA match in wrestling just does not. Occasionally, there'll be glimpses of it working, like a Lion's Den or a Fight Pit. But if you actually go through and do a whole MMA rules situation here, where you have matches get stopped by, trainers and shit like that, doesn't work out. It doesn't translate well. The AEW tried to do this with Jake Hager and whoever I don't remember who the other guy was. It was terrible. And they've never done it again. I do not want to see another MMA rules match in WWE ever again. If you're gonna do this type of stuff with Shayna Baszler, do it in the Fight Pit or do it in the Lions Den or something. This works more for a blood sport type thing, where you see blood sport do that. Josh Barnett does MMA rules matches in his professional wrestling, and it works for him because he finds a way to make it work. Triple H it didn't work out. So, but again, happy for Shayna, but this was not very good here. What was actually really good, but not as good as it should have been, and didn't live up to the expectations of what people thought. Gunther defending the Intercontinental Championship against Drew McIntyre. This match only lasted 14 minutes. Didn't go very long here, which is crazy. A match was fine. It was fun, just not the levels of a Sheamus, the match with Sheamus at Clash of the Castle, or the match from WrestleMania that had Drew and Sheamus in it. Didn't live up to that caliber, but if I had to pick an Intercontinental Championship match here, I'd put this above the Mustafa Ali IC title match, but it's still not the best showing, in my opinion, of what these two can do here. Sheamus and Drew, not Sheamus and Drew. I'm thinking of the WrestleMania match already again. Gunther and Drew exchanged chops as McIntyre suplexes Gunther, hits a neck breaker for good measure, follows that up with a power bomb and a future shock DDT, but Gunther was able to kick out. McIntyre aims for a Claymore kick, but Gunther gets out of the ring, which leads to McIntyre doing his Undertaker dive over the top rope. Yet when he aims for the Claymore, Drew Gunther interrupts it with a drop kick and a power bomb. McIntyre is forced to kick out Gunther, then takes high risk by diving off the top turnbuckle. Which he connects with, McIntyre was able to kick out again, then unloads some slaps and clubbing blows to the back of the neck and head. Claymore by Drew out of nowhere. Gunther kicks out. They manage to get to the top rope. McIntyre crashes and burns off on the top rope. Gunther takes advantage with the splash, clothesline, and the powerbomb symphony for the win. And still, your Intercontinental Champion, as it should have been. Gunther, who hopefully looks like he's going to be surpassing the Honky Tonk Man's record. And then once that happens, you call up Ilya Dragunov and have Ilya Dragunov be the one to take the title off of Gunther, and then set Gunther up to win the Royal Rumble, and then have him face Finn Balor, Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. Speaking of Seth Rollins, he took on and defended his World Heavyweight Championship against Finn Balor, a rematch from Money in the Bank, but a lot of people saying this is the rematch of the century, or 7 years in the making, though this match has happened multiple times since 2017. But I thought this was light years better than what they did at Money in the Bank, because I didn't really care for their match at Money in the Bank. It just was not very good here. So Rollins heads to the ring wearing the same vest that he wore at SummerSlam in 2016, which I thought was brilliant. So that's one thing I do like about Seth Rollins, is he knows how to get in the head of his opponent. We saw this last year with the excellent Royal Rumble match between him and Roman, where Seth came out in full Shield gear and entrance with the music, and I thought it was brilliant. He did the same thing with Cody at Hell in a Cell, where he came out with the polka dots on him and stuff like that, which I thought was really cool stuff here. The champion is in trouble at some points here in this match with Balor, because Balor attacks Rollins after the bell rung. He sends him into the turnbuckles, also yanking on the injured area of Seth Rollins. The champion turns things around with serious kicks to the head, then drops Balor to the mat. Looks for some breathing space here, some breathing room here. He looks up. He starts to pick up the pace and then nails a trio of suicide dives. Back into the ring, Rollins takes a little too long on the top rope, allows Balor to attack the arm once again, then launches him into the ring post. Does go Seth Rollins outside the ring. Balor looks to do the same buckle bomb the same buckle bomb to Rollins that Rollins delivered to Balor at SummerSlam in 2016, and I love the fact that it was in the same ringside area, the same camera area, but didn't get to hit it. Well, I think he did get to hit it, rather. Where was I? There. Yeah. So he hit it. Hits a sling blade on the outside. I believe it was on the outside as well. However, Balor then runs to a kick to the face by Rollins. Balor responds by diving him into the mat, locking the arm bar. which, again, that was a focus of Finn Balor into this match here. Later on in the match, the two men then trade forearm strikes, and they're just going back and forth here. Miss Balor goes for a coup de grace, misses. Rollins hits the pedigree, only for Balor to kick out at 2. Then all of a sudden we see Damian Priest walking down to the ring with Money in the Bank here. He heads to the ring. He nails Rollins with the right hand while the referee is distracted, or isn't looking, rather. Balor lands a pedigree, which I didn't see that coming. Rollins kicks out Rhea Ripley, and Dominic Mysterio then appeared to distract the official. Priest offers to use the briefcase as a weapon, and Balor's like, we're going to do Plan A. This is not what we discussed. They are arguing here. Rollins takes advantage with the curb stomp. Balor was able to kick out. This is just going crazy here. Balor takes out Priest and Dominic with the curb stomp. Balor, he gets it back in the ring. Sling blade hits a coup de grace for a 2 count. Priest then throws in the Money in the Bank, distracts the referee. Balor looks like he's about to use it, but Rollins hits the curb stomp on Balor onto the briefcase, and Seth Rollins retains the World Heavyweight Championship. This was excellent here. This is probably my favorite match of the night. I'm torn between this and Brock and Cody, but this was great stuff here. The turmoil between the Judgment Day, mainly Finn Balor and Damian Priest, continue, and it does look like the failed cash in this year is not going to be for the women, because it was not, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. We'll talk about that next. It's going to be Damian Priest. I think whenever Damian Priest attempts officially cashes in, he's going to fail it due to Finn Balor, because that's the story they're telling here. Seth Rollins should absolutely walk into WrestleMania as the champion whenever we get there. Next up, we have Asuka defending I must call it a Raw Women's Championship, because that's what it was prior to the name change. Asuka defending the WWE Women's title against Charlotte Flair and Bianca Belair. This match was good. I, for one, did not like or care for the Super Cena bullshit that they were doing with Bianca Belair again. It's getting old. They did this whole injury angle with her where she hurt her knee or whatever it is. And I thought she was going to be out of the match for the rest of the match here. And then Charlotte blocks in the... well, before that, there was actually a good spot here that I liked. It was... So, Asuka was out on the mat, and then I believe it was a KOD by Bianca, which somehow translated, because she landed in a perfect position for Asuka to do a lock in the Asuka lock, which I thought was pretty creative here. But as I was saying with the Bianca knee injury thing here, Asuka was put into the figure 8, and Bianca decided to climb up the top rope with her injured knee and do the 450 splash, which didn't really sell much of that afterwards. She gets locked into the figure 8. Asuka comes in, sprays her in the face, Charlotte in the face, and then a roll up by Bianca. 1, 2, 3. Bianca Belair wins the WWE Women's Championship, all for about 20 seconds. Afterwards, IYO SKY and Bayley come out to the ring, sprinting. The crowd pops for this, by the way. Bianca, who was, I guess, being cheered as babyface, immediately went from babyface to heel in a matter of seconds, which was hilarious. IYO comes out here, the crowd goes insane. She hands the briefcase to Bayley. I'm like, oh my god, don't you screw this up. This is where I was worried about what was going to happen here. Bayley takes out Charlotte and Asuka with the briefcase. She is attempting to take out Bianca. Bianca decks Bayley. Io picks up the briefcase and smacks Bianca in the injured knee, and then smacks her in the face with it. Io says, "I'm cashing this in," hands it to Jessica Carr, the referee, who hands it off to whoever it is. I think it's the timekeeper area. Mike Rome announces IYO SKY is cashing in Money in the Bank. Bell rings, moonsault, 1, 2, 3. And your new WWE Women's Champion is IYO SKY. And the crowd lost their shit. I lost my shit because I'm like, yes, finally, a champion that worked her ass off to get to this point. This is a woman who was seconds from walking out the door when her contract was fixing to expire, and she was getting ready to walk out and go back to Stardom. And then Triple H was like, "Yeah, no, I run things now." And she convinced, and I said this, Triple H is the only person who can convince IYO to stay, and that's exactly what happened here. 1 year ago, Damage Control debuted SummerSlam. I didn't review the show because I wasn't doing this podcast around that time. My first show was Clash of the Castle for this here. The reason I didn't do SummerSlam last year is because it was a wait and see process for me when it comes to Triple H's booking. And for the first 4 weeks of Triple H's booking, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this podcast because I enjoy these shows way more than I did when Vince was in charge. But like I said, 1 year ago, we've seen the return of Bayley, IYO, and Dakota. Dakota Kai, who was out here, had a nice little moment here. She was not ready to return, by the way. She was only there to support IYO. They had a nice little moment. Damage Control hugging each other in the ring while IYO is celebrating with the title. But like I said, a year ago, these four returned IYO. Like I said, was one foot out the door, but was brought back. Dakota Kai, who was fired a few months prior to this, got the call back from Triple H to come back. Bayley, who just come back from knee surgery. And what's great about it is this happened after Bianca won the championship, or not won the championship. No, did she? No, she retained the championship in an excellent match with Becky Lynch, which then ended up kind of stalling a lot of plans they had, because I'm pretty sure Becky Lynch was supposed to be part of most of that story going into Survivor Series, and they had to stall it because Becky got hurt. She separated her shoulder. But my point here is, I said on Twitter, it might have been on my old Twitter account. It was on my old one before my old podcast Twitter until Elon Musk decided to kick me off of that one for no fucking reason. What was I about to say? What the hell was I fixing to say here? Oh. So, I tweeted on that particular account that IYO SKY is going to be the one to break out from Damage Control. And it's not going to be Bayley. It's not going to be, unfortunately, Dakota. It's going to be IYO SKY. People for months tried to tell me I was crazy, that I didn't know what I was talking about, and they also tried to convince me they would not push anybody other than Bayley. You all owe me an apology a year later. I said, since Money in the Bank, that she's going to cash in and win the championship. They're not failing her cash in. I've said this for weeks and months. The failed cash in is going to be with Damian Priest, and that was proven. It seems to be proven correctly in the world title match here that we just saw with Balor and Rollins. But again, we've seen the support come out from people in the wrestling world, people like Azumi, a former one of the current members of Stardom's. Speaking of Stardom, before I go into that, Rousey Ogawa tweeted out his congratulations to IYO. Stardom's English account tweeted out there, congratulations, Azumi, member of Queen's Quest, who was there when IYO SKY was still part of that group. Tweeted out, I think she'd like to post, and then on Instagram she made a post saying, in her story, saying congratulations. She's happy to see her former captain be, I guess, all that stuff. Konami sent her congratulations earlier today, I believe. Saki Kashima did the same thing. Even people who work in other companies, like Deanna Purrazzo. Just nice to see that. In Shinsuke Nakamura obviously tweeted out IYO in Japanese here. IYO SKY did have her own little message, which I'm actually going to get to in just a little bit. I'm going to actually tweet. I'm going to actually make this point here. But first, before I do that, actually, no, I'm going to read this here. So IYO tweeted out on Twitter, because she only has Instagram and Twitter right now. She hasn't joined Threads. Wanted becoming the best in the world. She threw away the best in Japan position she had at the time she flew to America. She, I'm not even going to read this. Screw that. Basically, her talking about her being the best and all that stuff. Go read her Twitter. It's great to see. But let's talk about this interesting story here that broke by PW Insider. Kairi Sane, now known as Kairi, the former Kairi Sane, former NXT Women's Champion, former WWE Tag Team Champions, Women's Tag Team Champions, and the inaugural IWGP Women's Champion. PW Insider reported yesterday, a few hours before SummerSlam, that I must have IYO SKY again. Kairi had come to an agreement to return to WWE. Said that they reported the report indicated that her return is imminent. More details have emerged. Is it imminent or as soon as this week? More details of that deal to appear or to come back has seemed to be revealed. Per Dave Meltzer, Wrestling Observer, Kairi has 2 more dates scheduled for Japan because she just announced that she has a match with Sendai Girls on September the 8th, I believe, indicating Kairi would be back in a few months. Meltzer said maybe maybe November. She has 2 more dates in Japan, and I think she's scheduled for. She's coming back. Is what basically it is here. One of the upcoming dates for Kairi, we'll see her compete in, like I said, September 8th, AJPW show, where she will team with Asari Ono from Stardom. She's part of, I believe she's a part of I think she's part of Cosmic Angels. The faction led by, she's either in Cosmic Angels or she's in Donna Del Mondo. No, she's in Cosmic Angels because those two wrestle each other. In the 5-star, they beat the hell out of each other. So no, she's not in Donna Del Mondo. Otherwise, I would have known that. They will face off against Unagi Sayaka and a partner to be chosen. Kairi was taken to social media last night to hint that she has an announcement coming sometime later today. A press conference that will be I guess be streaming on YouTube afterwards. I'm assuming the press conference is to announce that she is coming back to WWE. Kairi is a former NXT Women's Champion who has one of the shortest reigns ever, but she defeated Shayna Baszler to win that championship at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. She also defeated Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross with Asuka to win the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships at Hell in a Cell 2019 and became the longest reigning tag team champions of that title. And in my opinion, the better women's tag team champions. Asuka, of course, her former tag team partner, dropped the women's championship to Bianca Belair, who lost it to IYO SKY not that long afterwards. But it looks like Kairi is coming back, and I am excited for that. Very, very, very interesting that the day that IYO wins the title, is the day that Kairi is coming back, and I can't wait to see what happens here. She has to come to SmackDown because it just makes a lot of sense. Bayley, I mean, the last time anybody saw Kairi on WWE television was she was taken out by Bayley, which caused Asuka to lose her Raw Women's Championship to Sasha Banks, and her to come back to face Bayley again just makes a lot of sense. And people remember her last match in WWE, she defeated Bayley in an excellent match, by the way, in front of no people, but she had a great match with Bayley. Kairi's run in the WWE was actually not that bad. It was very good. They protected her quite a bit here. So I'm very excited to see what they're going to do here. So, we might might even finally get that IYO Kairi match that Triple H wanted to do in NXT. We don't know what that looks like in WWE because they never got to do it. It looks like they'll be able to now, and maybe maybe the Kairi Asuka match that people wanted to see. Who knows? But yeah, that's the latest on Kairi Sane. If anything else drops about Kairi Sane, I'll let you guys know on the Pile Driver Pulse later on tonight, which hopefully I will be able to do record right after the press conference comes out here. So there's that. Main event. Before I go to that, actually, Fightful did have something here. It says we were not told how far IYO SKY was informed that she'd be winning the title, but we were told that it wasn't a last-minute decision. I kind of figured that was the plan the entire time, but that's all I have to say about the IYO SKY, Kairi Sane, all that stuff there. Main event. Oh boy, Roman Reigns defeating Jey Uso to retain the Universal Championship. This match was not very good. It was boring. I'm going to be 100% honest here. This is probably the most boring Roman Reigns match I've ever seen in my life. And I say that with this entire storyline. I thought their matches at Hell in a Cell and Night of Champions in 2020 were better than the match in front of an actual crowd at SummerSlam. I never want to hear the phrase. What was it? What did I call it? I said this last night. What was it here? If I can find it. All right, I said something about this here. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I never want to hear Jey Uso's World Championship material ever again after tonight, because after that terrible fucking match, I have no desire to see Jey Uso versus anybody in the World Championship title match ever again. And then it makes it even worse here, because the whole point of this entire match was to not have interference. The interference was supposed to take place after. Like, no one was allowed to get involved. But guess what? Solo got involved, and so did Jimmy Uso. Yes, Jimmy Uso turned on Jey Uso because reasons. No one wants to see Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. Not even the big crap that I took earlier today doesn't want to even see Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. This better not main event Payback. I'm sorry. I don't want to see Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso be the main event of a pay-per-view. This is the worst thing in this entire storyline. And again, last night just proved to the entire world and everybody else that Cody should have beaten Brock. Or WWE proving everyone's point is to why Cody Rhodes should have won at WrestleMania. Now we gotta wait an entire year to get to WrestleMania 40 just to do Cody and Roman again. We could have still got to this whole thing with Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso and whatever without the titles. Like, even, was it last week or week before? Jey Uso said it's not about the title. About me kicking your ass is what it was. But what do I know? I'm just a good guy who does reviews of the shows. This was a terrible main event. A terrible main event in my opinion, and also a terrible finish. If I had to choose, I would have switched this match around for Rollins and Balor. Rollins and Balor should have main evented SummerSlam. This is how it is. I'm not even going to go over this match here because I have no reason to. So there's that. Spear through the table after Jimmy gets involved. 1, 2, 3. Roman Reigns retains LOL. It's whatever at this point. We know Cody's going to be the one to take the title off of him. They're prolonging this. This is the worst part of this storyline here. I'm kind of at the point where I just don't care anymore about the Bloodline storyline. To me, the Bloodline storyline peaked at WrestleMania. When the Usos lost the tag titles, that's also when Roman should have lost the world title, and then Roman should have been off television for a couple months, so people forget about him, and he come back. But whatever. But overall, I thought SummerSlam was still a good show, outside of the main event and the MMA rules match. I enjoyed the triple threat match was all right. My favorite things on this entire show were Brock Cody, that was great. The World Championship match between Balor and Rollins was great. EO cashing in and winning Money in the Bank was a great moment. Not winning Money in the Bank, winning the World Women's Championship. Gunther, Drew McIntyre could have been better. It was fine. It was still good, but it wasn't like what we all expected and thought it would be. Logan Paul, Ricochet was fine. It was good opening match here. LA Knight's still over. Brock Cody was great. Cody has been cemented as the guy. That's all I gotta say about that here. But I will see you back here later on tonight for the Pile Driver Pulse podcast. Well, not on YouTube, you won't see that here, but on everywhere else, listen to the Pile Driver Pulse, where we go over more details on the whole thing with Kairi Sane. If something comes out like that, we'll also go over the bizarre stuff that went down with Lufisto. That's going to be a lot of stuff to go through there. We got more G1 5-star Grand Prix results to go through here, and I believe there's some other things I wanted to talk about. If I can see what else we got here. I think that's all I'm going to... Oh, I got to go... also go over the Rampage stuff and also Collision, because I didn't get to watch Collision last night because I was watching SummerSlam. And some matches that seems like they're going to be taking place on All In. But other than that, I've been Matt the Misfit. This has been the Miss for Wrestling Podcast. Until Raw, we're out.